Salutations!
Welcome to the Film Mages Podcast, where the popcorn is our ammunition, the couch is our foxhole, and the cinema is our place of worship.
Now let me see your war face. Ah!
Will someone say something?
Hey.
Somebody tell a joke.
Gabagoo.
Hello,
Manjo,
everybody. It is your favorite podcast. It's back.
It's the Film Mages.
It is the Film Mages. It's us.
It's Zach.
I love that for us.
It's Mick.
It's Alexis.
There we go.
Yeah, look at that. Speaking of podcasts, I have a bone to pick right away with
us?
Blank Check.
Oh, okay. That's
The
another
Blank Check
podcast,
podcast.
right?
Yeah, probably the most popular podcast about movies.
Is it?
Well, other than ours.
Right.
But they were talking about supporting actor performances, and they got talking about Mark Ruffalo.
What about him?
And then, wouldn't you know it, they start doing the fucking spotlight monologue. They start doing it in their episode. Stay in your fucking lane. That's our goddamn thing.
Yeah, that's not even Mark Ruffalo's
That's clearly
thing.
like
Yeah.
we trademark that as our bit.
Yeah.
That belongs to me.
We own it.
Yeah, that belongs to us now. Yeah, and they didn't even do the whole fucking monologue. They didn't commit to the bit.
You gotta commit to the bit.
You gotta commit to the bit.
Blank Check, if you're listening, if you are listening,
We know. I
Come
mean,
on.
listen, you're listening to the
Yeah.
competition.
you gotta commit to the bit.
You're trying to catch us, and it ain't never gonna work.
Like honestly, like Blank Check, what's going on over there? Ooh.
Whoa.
Ooh.
Nick, did you just fucking launch us into our famous segment?
I think I did.
Our famous segment, What's Going On? Where we talk about what's going on?
Incredibly
Famous
smooth.
is how I describe it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well-
what is going on, my lovely friends? What's
Alexis,
happening?
you're back in Fresno. What's been going on there?
Well, I just
First of
got
all,
back to Fresno.
Oh.
Where were you?
I was in LA last weekend, and then this weekend I was in Morro Bay.
Whoa.
Where's that again?
It's kind of near Pismo.
Where's Pismo again? Like legitimately.
It's like I'd say it's like halfway between the LA beaches and like the Santa Cruz and like San Francisco beaches. So just
Okay.
think,
What were you
just
doing over
think
there?
literally go to the ocean from where I'm at. Just cross
Oh,
the
okay.
mountains
What were
and
you-
go that way.
What were you doing on the coast? Getting away from the heat?
Yeah, it's like 107, 110 over here.
Jesus.
So, not my thing. You know me, I like the dark. I like the cool weather. I prefer
Yeah,
the dark
it
and damp,
was-
just like me.
It was fun
Right.
to have Alexis back at this apartment and watch as all of our blinds just closed.
Just all closed.
Just the
Yeah.
darkness
Simultaneously.
descended
The
on our
troll
living room.
The troll hole just follows her.
The troll hole is transitory. It's, yeah. The troll hole is where your heart is. So that's kind of fun. Alexis, have you been watching any films?
I actually have. So
What you
Ooh,
watch?
what did you see?
After I
Alexis, what did you watch?
after I left your apartment, I went home and I watched Fallout, which was
Dun,
Oh.
dun, 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 dun.
I'll be honest, Alexis, I'm feeling really tired, and just now I got my energy back.
wow.
Thank you.
I'm so happy
Alexis,
for you.
What did you think of Mission Impossible Fallout?
You know what? I liked it. I actually don't think that it's my favorite of the series. I actually think that I like Rogue Nation more
Really?
Respectable,
for
respectable.
personal
Wait.
reasons.
Yeah, wait, why? I want to know why, because Rogue Nation's one of my favorites.
I know why.
Why? Let the audience know.
It's literally
Alexis, would
it's,
you like to tell them?
it's just the scene where Tom Cruise uses his core strength to literally just like fucking yeet himself up off a pole, and I was just like, huh. Like I felt a little flutter of something in my chest, you know.
It gave Alexis the fizz.
It really did.
Excellent.
Yeah.
But you watched Fallout? You enjoyed Fallout?
I enjoyed Fallout. I definitely, I knew right away. I was like, never trust a pretty face. Fuck Henry Cavill. Like immediately, I was like, he's too good looking to be a good guy.
Yeah, he's way too handsome.
What did you think of him in that film?
He's okay.
Other than him being hot and untrustworthy. Okay, really?
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not really like a huge Henry Cavill person. Like not like I honestly haven't seen him in many things other than like The Witcher, which to be fair,
I'm with you.
like you have to like fully commit to The Witcher because it's like so high fantasy. So I'm just like, hats off to him.
Right.
Yeah, I haven't been a huge Henry Cavill guy either, but
he's good in Man from Uncle.
Yeah, I like him in Man from Uncle, and I like him a lot in Fallout.
His role in Fallout is my favorite thing he's ever done.
I also just love that Tom Cruise was like, all right, what giant, handsome man am I going to kick the shit out of in my movie?
Yeah.
Oh, I know. Superman.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, he was just, I think he immediately just like got on my nerves because of like, his attitude towards things or whatever. But I mean, like, that's just his character. So,
as he says, that's the job.
Yeah. And then I got my sister to watch, so I rewatched Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol.
Fuck yeah, you did.
Yeah, I got Natalie to watch it
right here. You're hooked.
What did she think?
What did she think? You want to hear?
Yes.
She said, okay. That was actually pretty good.
Yay.
Got it, okay. Got it, okay.
Natalie, if you're listening to this, I'm deeply in love with you now.
Natalie, thank you for accepting that mission.
Because of you guys, I was in the office the other day and I was telling her something, and then I was saying, oh yeah, I'm gonna go to the movies with Dad tomorrow, and she was like, oh, what are you gonna go see? And I was all dun 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 dun
yeah.
dun dun dun.
Hey baby.
And I immediately just was like, oh my God, please fuck me. It's so stuck in my head now. I was like, I'm so over this theme song, even though like I kind of love the series right now.
Yep.
I went and saw
Alexis,
Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 with my dad as well.
Well, what did he think? What did you think?
What did you both think?
So, in shocking news, my dad has never seen any of the Mission Impossible movies, which I was just
gasp.
like, yeah, super gasp. Because I was like, I thought Tom Cruise was your man, but he's actually seen the Mission Impossible TV show from like hella long ago. Yeah. But he never watched the movies. But yeah, he gave it like a 4 out of 5. He was like, yeah. He's like, Cruise is the best. I was like, I know.
Goddamn right.
And I was
president
of
movies.
The president of movies.
I got a little high before I went, and it was just like fucking go time, And then like we got out of the movie. My dad's a little awkward. He's a little anxious. We went out to eat, and like I just feel like the more awkward things kind of got, the more I started word vomiting all of my knowledge about Mission Impossible, which actually filled the space for like a good like 20 minutes.
There you go.
See?
I was explaining to him how they did the stunt in the movie.
See, Alexis, it's not just us, right? Like once you get exposed to it, we don't make the rules, man. We just play the game.
Okay.
I feel saturated by it.
Is that I just think that I have a very contrarian personality at times, and the more excited you guys are about things, the more I feel like I don't want to be excited about it sometimes.
Oh, Alexis, we're aware.
Yeah, to be honest with you, that's kind of how I feel about Succession. Because you two are so into it, I'm like, I know it's good. I'll see it eventually.
Get sucked up, buddy.
I can admit that I'm like wrong, and I did admit that I was wrong about Mission Impossible, and that's fine.
And
hey, there we go.
That's very big of you.
Actually,
well, Alexis,
I thought it was really interesting that in this one I was watching the very like first 30 minutes, and I was like, what's happening here? This looks so much like the De Palma version of Mission Impossible. Like they went back to this like Dutch angle, like, and all these like close-ups and stuff, and I was just like, what's happening?
Hero shots too, where the camera's looking up at characters, which is very distinctive to De Palma.
Yeah.
No, it definitely like brings back some of that like paranoid thriller DNA.
It's fantastic.
God.
Yeah.
And also, just like it's so fair that like Ethan Hunt, like the only thing that could like go up against him at this point is literally a computer. I was just like, wow, crazy.
Yep.
I should have seen that one coming.
The joy that I feel right now of Alexis just speaking our language.
Alexis, listen, I mean, what else could happen,
Yeah, she's plugged in.
As we all know, he's a mind-reading, shape-shifting incarnation of chaos, and you should not consider him down until you drive a stake through his open heart.
That's
exactly.
so good.
Exactly.
Shea Wiggum is so good in that movie.
I love
It's kind of the summer of Wiggum because he's also in Across the Spider-Verse.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
I was listening to the Mission Impossible podcast.
Light the Fuse?
Light the Fuse. You should listen to it,
good.
folks.
Yeah, there's a little plug for you guys. I know you're listening.
Shea Wiggums was talking about how desperately he wanted to be in the Mission Impossible movies. And then he like joked like, hey, like I really want to be in like a foot chase with Tom Cruise. And they took him up on it for the Venice scene. And apparently, like Tom Cruise was like stretching because he's like an athlete and he's getting ready to like run. And Shea Wiggums is like,
they're in Italy, and Shea Wiggums like, I've been eating pasta and pizza
and wine.
Drinking vino the whole time I've been here, and now I have to chase Tom Cruise.
Yeah. Do you know how many times I told my dad Tom Cruise is bananas? These movies are bananas. Like I kept saying bananas. I can't stop saying everything is bananas.
Bananas. Bananas.
Exactly.
This movie is bananas. Wait, so where does Dead Reckoning Part 1 rank with you? Because you said Fallout isn't your favorite.
You said Rogue Nation's your favorite?
Yeah, I think Rogue Nation's my favorite. I think actually Dead Reckoning might go under that, and then Fallout, and then Ghost Protocol. I think it was just that in Dead Reckoning, I feel like the jokes all landed more with me, like consistently.
It's a funny movie.
Yeah, like, it's like, I don't know, like, it's like the humor finally was, like, finding its place with me. Like, all the other movies, they're, you know, I found them funny, but, like, not all the jokes funny, you know?
I tend to agree. I do think that Dead Reckoning kind of has the highest hit percentage for its jokes. Or either that or Ghost Protocol. I also find Ghost Protocol to be very funny.
I just really love the physical comedy of it. Like the Fiat 500 chase.
Yeah, when him and Haley Atwell flip.
Yeah, it's so funny.
Yeah, dude, that shit, the Fiats. I was just, and you know what, to be fair, I actually feel like maybe I was one of the biggest fans of the Mission Impossible series, as unlikely as I thought this would be, but I feel like I might have been one of the biggest fans in the theater when I saw this movie because I was giggling, but you know, also I was a little high, so that could also be.
Do you see me rubbing my hands together and licking my lips?
Yeah. Alexis, welcome to the dark side.
Yay.
We're so happy to have you.
Alexis
Thrilled to be here.
Meet the IMF.
Dun 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 dun
I think,
dun dun.
Lastly, I just think that the last three movies are just so great because you have like the dream team, basically, you know?
You really do.
Yeah.
Like, I don't love Paula Patton, but like, Rebecca Ferguson, just the intrigue of her character, and then also fucking what was her name? Haley Atwell.
Haley Atwell
is Grace.
She's great, but I really loved Palm. She was really cute.
Yeah, I mean the female powerhouses of Dead Reckoning is crazy.
Yeah, bananas. I was all, yes, this is what I'm here for.
Yeah, I saw something that was like I think it was a tweet that was like Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning is the Hot Woman Olympics and everyone is taking home the gold.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
That's about right.
Well, there was a certain cinematic event that occurred this weekend, and I took part in it.
Oh, lovely.
It's time for Zach's Barbenheimer thoughts.
Oh.
Okay, but you can't go too in depth because I
won't spoil anything.
Yes.
I won't spoil anything.
Yeah, I also have not seen either.
Yes, but you know, I feel like somebody's gotta get it out there. You know, I did this for the fans. I got my boots on the ground. I went opening weekend. I did this for you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I went to the Universal City Walk AMC, and
which is one of the few locations in the United States where you can actually watch it on proper 70mm IMAX.
Now, I didn't see the 70mm IMAX of Oppenheimer. I just saw it in 70mm because by the time I was getting tickets, the 70mm IMAX, the seats were not going to be any good.
Right.
So I settled for 70mm, and let me just say, I will be going back. To see it in 70mm IMAX because
it's incredible, right?
It's a toss-up for me whether John Wick 4 is still my favorite movie of the year.
Wow.
Oppenheimer is like, I think Christopher Nolan, maybe his best film.
Wow.
I don't know if it's the one I enjoy watching the most, but I have only seen it once. But it feels like the culmination of his style, Like, there's tricks that I saw him use way back in fucking Memento that come into play here. I think that Cillian Murphy gives, like, his career best performance.
Fuck yeah.
Robert Downey Jr. gives one of his best performances, again, as a Kiss Kiss Bang Bang and Zodiac head. I don't know if I'm ready to say it's his best.
Yeah, he's also really good as Chaplin.
Yes.
If you haven't seen that yet.
Oh, yeah,
really
good movie. But, yeah, Oppenheimer is just, like, the feel-bad movie of the summer. I am shocked that it is as big of a blockbuster as it is, because it is a very haunted and frightening movie. And to anyone who was like, oh, you know, it's gonna be nuclear apologia, because I was seeing that going around as a take. You're stupid and you're wrong.
Right. Now, when you say that, you basically mean that Christopher Nolan, people were worried that he was going to make a movie that would kind of be like, hey, we had to do this.
Yeah.
We had to basically do such a barbaric thing to the Japanese
Very
people.
much not the case.
Thank God.
It is
Good.
Feels like a monster movie in some ways.
Well,
like,
that's fantastic. That's exactly what it should be.
It's a Frankenstein story. It's
Nice.
oh God, what hath I wrought?
Yeah.
And you don't want anyone other than Cillian Murphy headlining that movie. He can just he can say so much with his eyes alone.
God, I can't wait, dude.
Yeah,
I'm
Emily
so
Blunt
excited.
also fucking great in that movie. Easily the best woman that Nolan has ever written. And I'm gonna go out and say I have often been kind of lukewarm on Christopher Nolan.
Yeah.
There are movies of his that I think are great. A lot of his stuff I find to be kind of overhyped. Not bad, but, definitely overpraised.
I'm with you. The whole "In Nolan We Trust" thing that was popular like 8 years ago, I was like,
All right, relax with that.
Yeah.
But one thing that I've criticized him for in the past and have said before is, like, Nolan needs a screenwriter.
A good writing partner.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I've found that the movies that he writes by himself tend to be kind of cold.
A little inaccessible.
Yeah. He wrote Oppenheimer. He's the sole credited writer. And I think it's a fantastic script.
Nice.
I really think that it gets to the heart of all of its characters. And you know what? If you are a fan of the movie Amadeus, I think you will like Oppenheimer.
I still have to watch that.
Another incredible movie.
Yeah.
I need to rewatch that. It's been a long time.
That's been on my watch list for so long.
So I saw Oppenheimer, and then I went and got some drinks with Sloan and a few of her friends at Margaritaville.
Main Margaritaville. Hey, man.
What's up, Jimmy Buffett?
Jimmy Buffett serving drinks after the bomb.
Yeah.
Nice.
And it was a blast. And then
There it is. Love it.
we went back into the theater, and I summoned all of my Canergy,
Yes.
Nice.
and we went and saw Barbie.
Nice. How was that?
It was very good. I think it's my least favorite of Greta Gerwig's movies, simply because I like Lady Bird and Little Women. I mean, fucking come on. Goated with the sauce.
Good.
Little Women's practically a 5-star movie for me, so I'm like, I don't know if Barbie will top being able to make me cry for the entirety of a movie,
I think that similar to brain dead takes about Oppenheimer, I was seeing a lot of people be like, Greta Gerwig is selling out now. And it's very much because she's making, a studio movie that's about a product. And, there are some levels to which I do think that it's kind of, no matter your intentions and no matter how good the movie is, it's still somewhat cynical, because at the end of the day, it is serving
It's a commercial
to advertise a product.
Right.
But it feels very of a piece with her other work. It's, about how women exist within a world that's hostile to them. It's about mothers and daughters. So I very much feel like she is the author of that movie, and it's exciting to see her kind of grow technically as an artist. This is very much her most ambitious film, and all of the stuff in Barbie Land looks fucking incredible. Like the production design is gorgeous. It looks like an MGM musical.
Wasn't there like a
national shortage
paint?
Of paint.
Yeah,
Yes.
pink paint shortage.
They caused a pink paint
because they had so much of a set to paint.
Yeah.
I love that kind of shit.
But I liked the movie a lot. I thought it was quite funny. Margot Robbie is very good and like kind of gets to show some sides of herself as a performer that I feel like a lot of the time she doesn't really get to play. Like she gets to kind of be a dork.
Oh, great!
Which is nice.
Yeah, man, she has range.
She gets
man.
It's
kind of frustrating.
It's like she's very good in this
so
movie.
Beautiful. She's so talented. She's funny.
There's a really funny
She's
joke
Australian.
About how beautiful Margot Robbie is in the movie. Like had me in stitches. The last line of the movie is like a great fucking gag.
How was Ryan Gosling?
I'm dancing around the big ticket item of the movie.
Yeah.
Listen, I understand that this is a movie directed by a woman with a largely female cast that's aimed towards women.
But at the end of the day,
I've been hearing really good things about my boy Ryan.
It's Ryan Gosling's movie. Like he owns the screen. As good as anyone else is in the movie, as soon as Ryan Gosling is on screen, your eyes are drawn to him.
Right.
Like not only does he deliver every single line of his in a way that is like so committed and so funny, but just like any time where he's just like in a scene, like standing off to the side, like reacting to something, it's like hysterical. Like I was audibly laughing.
Yeah.
Basically every time he was on screen.
Nice.
If Robert Downey Jr. and Ryan Gosling are both nominated for Best Supporting Actor this year, it will be very deserved, and I do not know who should win.
Wow. Wow.
And I may be leaning Gosling, simply because
I'm impressed that RDJ's in there.
I think the movie would work less, like significantly less, if Ryan Gosling was not in there.
You know, it would actually be really, really, really cool if he did actually win, because it's not often that people win that category in under a comedy.
Yeah, and he is like giving a fucking clinic in how to play a comedic role, and it's still not his best comedic role because The Nice Guys exists.
Yeah, it's funny that we're talking about this because there was a while where I was kind of cold on Ryan Gosling because a lot of his parts, I didn't think he had much range. Like he would just be quiet and stoic.
Yeah, and
he'd be good, but it's like it was like what's that Bradley Cooper film he was in, Across the Pines?
The Place Beyond the Pines.
Place Beyond the Pines. He was in
Drive, First Man, Blade Runner 2049.
He's always just playing this quiet guy, but then you have The Nice Guys.
It's not like that's not even his strongest mode.
He is so good. It's like you just need to give him like juicy fucking material, and he can kill it. He can own it.
He is Kenough.
He's Kenough.
Yes.
I love that. Copyrighted.
I'm sure they already have. But yeah, both a very good time at the movies. It's kind of interesting how, without spoiling anything, Barbie is a movie centering around women that's kind of about what it means to be alive and create something that's alive. And Oppenheimer is a movie that primarily centers around men. That is like, what does it mean to create the ultimate force of death?
Right.
You know, not to essentialize what different genders do, but I think it's just
men. They're in this breakneck race to eviscerate themselves.
to destroy the world.
Yeah. Men.
And it's it makes for genuinely like, beyond it being like a cultural moment and like a meme, it makes for an interesting double feature. So
That's great.
Very successful. Very
We've had
fun.
our first Barbenheimer of the show, man.
I barbed and I heimed, and I also saw Joyride, which is very funny. Very funny. I liked it. I like Joyride a little more than Barbie. Joyride has briefly cracked my top 10 of the year before Oppenheimer came out. It is an extremely funny movie. It's a great follow-up for Stephanie Sue.
Yeah.
For after her Oscar nomination, and I gotta look up her name. The girl who plays Deadeye,
Sabrina Wu.
Sabrina Wu
Yeah.
is so fucking funny. Like we have gotten a lot of really solid comedic performances this year. Like both Sabrina Wu, Stephanie Sue, Ryan Gosling,
Jennifer Lawrence,
Andrew Barth Feldman, Glenn Howerton. Like a lot of my Joaquin Phoenix in Beau is Afraid. Like a lot of my favorite performances of this year are in comedies. So, once we get back to making movies, make some more of those. Put them in theaters.
Yeah.
So those are the movies that I saw that are new.
Nice. I gotta fucking catch up. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, you do. Buddy.
I still have to watch Joyride too.
That
But you know what? That's good. All the fun that lies before me. These great films I get to watch.
Yeah.
God, we are spoiled for choice yet again.
Yeah.
And
feels good.
You know who made those movies? Actors and writers.
Not computers and not executives.
Yeah, so, hey, executives, get back in the room with the fucking unions and give them what they want, you fuckheads.
Yeah, did you see that article that came out about A24?
Oh, yeah, the A24 is getting to shoot movies because they were like, we can meet
everything.
Can meet all of your demands.
That SAG has.
Because they're fucking reasonable.
It's actually kind of simple.
Yeah, and just think about how much less money A24 has coming in, and yet they somehow, believe it or not, can manage it.
Yeah. Fascinating.
Greed.
Yeah.
Mick, have you seen any movies?
Yes.
Mick and I had a movie day.
We had a movie day.
Yeah.
Well, to be honest with you, I've been like binging Love Island. I hate to say it.
All right.
Yeah, it's a thing. It's weirdly.
That's a different kind of dark side over there, guys.
Yeah, it's weirdly addictive. It's like a weird social experiment. I'm not going to defend it. It's like a train wreck.
It makes no damn sense, but it compels you though.
Yeah, exactly. Other than that, the movies that we watched. You know what we
watched before our movie day?
What?
Piranha 3D.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, well, let's talk about Piranha 3D.
Alexander Aja's Piranha 3D, which is a 2010 horror comedy.
It's low-key a banger.
It's really good.
Yeah.
It's really funny.
Alexis, it's bad. Don't get me wrong, it's bad, but it's good.
So it's a good, bad movie. Drink with your friends and eat popcorn kind of movie?
Yes.
Yes, and it knows what it's doing.
Yes, it knows what it is. Yeah. It doubles down on it. It owns up to what it is.
And it knows what it is while not, like, skimping on craft. Like, the makeup work in this movie.
It's incredible.
The makeup work. It's fucking incredible.
Yeah, the
Greg Nicotero.
It's incredible.
It's just like going for broke.
All of the limbs that have been nibbled on and eaten by the piranhas, like when they're being fished out of the water. I was quite honestly like, oh my God. Like, also, that's pretty gnarly.
Alexis, if you need to be sold on this, which, you probably do.
Yeah, okay. She needs a little bit more.
It's got our boy Luther in it.
Yes,
it's got Ving Rhames himself.
Ving Rhames uses a outboard motor to eviscerate a school
he
of
pulls a motor
piranhas
off the back of a speedboat and uses it like a weed whacker to chop up piranhas.
It's glorious. And then Eli Roth gets his head completely eviscerated.
Yeah, just like popped by a speedboat.
It was a good time.
That was a good time. We watched The Meg
in preparation for the sequel, which I will still be seeing.
Yeah, but the original's not good.
The original is, And the weird thing is, like, you compare it to Piranha 3D, and like, I think the production design is like a lot better. Like it looks. I agree with you.
It looks more like a movie.
It looks more like a movie.
It had more resources.
They had more resources. The CGI is really cool. I love the design of like the ships, the submarines, all that kind of shit. But it was just dull.
It's dull. It's flatly lit. Like I genuinely kind of like how some like bits of Piranha 3D looks.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, the Meg that was a missed opportunity.
Yeah.
And I am a Rainn Wilson fan, but I got to admit, he was bad at
Juiceless. Absolutely fucking juiceless.
Anytime he was on screen,
not
it just
drop.
Zapped the energy.
Sorry.
So we watched the Meg, and then Jason Statham, by the way.
Good Lord. It never stops.
So good.
It never stops for you.
He's so good in that movie.
Just wants to rub his weird bald head.
With marmalade. Don't forget with marmalade.
No, I could forget that.
And then we watched... What did we watch after that?
Welcome to my world.
The Stuart Gordon movie?
Yes, we watched Dagon.
Dagon.
Which is...
That was a good time.
Dagon's a fun movie.
Have you seen Dagon, Alexis?
I have no idea what you're even talking about.
Yeah,
See,
that doesn't surprise me.
When Zach asked me if I wanted to watch Dagon, I think that was the exact thing I said. I was like, I don't know what that is.
What is
that?
If we hadn't watched it a couple days ago, then it's on, I believe Dagon either was... I think it's on my list this year. I think it's on my Spooktober list. A little spoiler for you guys.
It's a good boat movie.
It is a boat movie. Yeah. But yeah, Mick, it was your first time watching.
First time watching. It is disgusting. Again, it's a Stuart Gordon film. It's yet another movie of his that is adapting Lovecraft, and it's spooky. And it reminded me of Pirates of the Caribbean 2 with all of the like half human, half sea creature people in this weird Spanish. Is it Spanish or Portuguese?
I believe it's a Spanish town.
Spanish town.
What's better than that?
Yeah, it was damn good. It's a good spooky fest. I can slowly feel spooky season encroaching.
You're feeling it creeping up?
It's slowly creeping up.
The end roommate was getting excited about it.
Yeah,
I watched,
that's right.
I watched The Nun with
Nun.
him, which, wasn't great, but
Yeah.
it's nice. It's nice that everybody's getting in the spooky spirit. That's what we all want.
That's what we want to see.
Exactly. Was that all the movies you guys saw?
No.
No.
Oh my
we
God.
also watched. I know.
We rewatched Tenet.
Yes, in preparation for Oppenheimer,
And-
which was the correct thing to do.
Yeah, both of us were kind of lukewarm. We saw Tenet together during the pandemic.
I was solidly not a fan of Tenet.
I was
when we first
very
saw it.
lukewarm.
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought it was overly. I kind of bought it. I agreed with what the main thing was, which is like, oh, it's way too convoluted. It's just like Christopher Nolan just basically not having a good co-writer. And it's just it's the most convoluted time travel thing you could possibly imagine. It's really hard to follow. However, on a rewatch, it's still hard to follow, but I did follow it better.
I didn't have that hard a time following it. And I was pretty lit at that point.
Yeah.
It helped.
And also it's just so infuriating that Nolan has not done a Bond film yet.
Yeah,
Because you
let
watch
him do
Tenet,
it.
you watch Inception, it's like, if there's any man who would kill that shit, it would be him.
Yeah.
It's so great. But yeah, Tenet, actually, I enjoyed it.
I liked Tenet quite a bit. That's upper tier Nolan for me. I really enjoyed that movie. Yeah, and then, we rewatched The Batman, kind of. I feel like we don't really need to talk about that.
No, not really. It was a good double feature because of Robert Pattinson.
Yeah.
What did you see, Alexis?
I watched Pee-wee's Big Adventure in preparation of seeing Barbie.
No.
Wait, they're not for the first time, though, right?
No, but the last time I
okay.
saw it, I think I was still a child, to be honest.
Right.
Because I saw that, like, at least before preteen or something, or like maybe around that time. As like an emo kid, anything Tim Burton is kind of like capital.
Even Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Even Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Alexis,
Actually,
are you gonna do it? Are you gonna do the thing?
we gotta issue a corrections corner because
So, as we all may remember, if you listen along to this show weekly, in our very first episode of Blockbuster Month,
Right.
I came to the defense of Mr. Paul Reubens, who was canceled, I believe, in like the 1990s, was kind of blacklisted from Hollywood for being seen masturbating in a porno theater.
Right.
And at the time, I was like, why would you cancel him
That's
for
what
that?
they're for.
That's what a porno theater's for.
Yeah.
He was just doing it amongst other consenting adults.
Uh-oh.
He's not jacking off in front of kids.
Oh, God.
Alexis, would you like to take it away?
Was he jacking off in front of kids?
These charges were dropped, but he was brought up on charges of having child pornography. Supposedly, there were quite a number of nude kind of like paintings or drawings. I guess it was never quite established whether or not they could be proven that these youthful looking people in these paintings were in fact really children or like whatever. Anyways, so basically he had a bunch of like paintings of people that like look kind of underage, whatever, I don't know. But yeah, so we had to issue it a corrections corner for this because I sent Zach the article after I watched Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Oh god.
Yeah, so
even in our tagline we were like, we're defending
Paul Reubens. Yeah.
Uh-oh.
So
canceled.
You know, at this time,
should we just stop the show at this point? Like, should we pull the plug?
I can neither.
Are we all going to jail now?
I can no longer, in good conscience, support Paul Reubens. I have not had confirmation that he does not jack off in front of children anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So
God.
at this point, I will no longer support anyone ever.
Listeners, until we have said proof that he does not masturbate in front of children, we're not going to be on his side.
Paul Reubens, you're on our shit list.
You're on our shit list. But if you can provide proof, then we're back at it, baby.
Okay.
Give us the Reubens.
Give
us a good Reubens.
Yeah, circling back to Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Yeah, how is the movie?
To take a left turn here. I fucking love that movie. I don't know why, but like literally as I was watching the movie, I was like, damn, my nephew would love this, because the exact like childish kind of like humor of like, I know you are, but what am I, is like exactly where Jax is at right now, being like 8 years old. Right. And like literally like I'd say like at least like half of the fucking like jokes of that movie just landed really hard with me for some reason. Like I don't know what it is about like super simple, stupid jokes that I'm just like, wow, I'm delighted.
Yeah, when I watched it, I was, again, kind of surprised. Like, the script is pretty good. Like, the screenplay has some genuinely good lines in it. Very funny.
The fucking, like, there's this part where, like, Pee-wee tells Dottie, you don't want to get mixed up with a guy like me. I'm a rebel. And then, like, that line comes up again with this fucking escaped convict. And then he goes, whoa, deja vu. But it's literally like they repeated the exact same line, you know? Right. I don't know. There's just like, there was a lot of callbacks like in the movie to like different things that happened like before. And also the fact that like, I don't know, fucking Pee-wee Herman is like in drag, basically, I guess. I don't know. Like, he's pretending to be a woman, like, while the police have stopped, and like he's trying to help this escaped convict like not get like sent back to prison, so he dresses up as a woman. I don't know. I just found like all of these things like pretty funny. I don't know. It was very tee-hee for me.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
Well, we're pretty deep in it. We should probably
let's
go
hop
ahead.
out of what's going on.
And we're back. Hello, everyone. I hope you had a nice break. So, we're at the end of Blockbuster Month.
I hate that, man.
It
wasn't here long enough.
It's been a good ride, Yeah. But it's time to bid it adieu.
Yeah.
And it's time to bid it adieu with our final big topic of Blockbuster Month.
And it's a good topic.
I think so, because I came up with it.
There you go.
And that big topic is, what are our favorite, most well-realized cinematic worlds? Now, I don't think these necessarily have to be fictional, right. But it's a world of a movie that feels very lived in and feels like it expands beyond the screen.
Yeah, good world building.
Yeah. So, what do we got, Mick, Alexis? Who wants to jump in?
I'm just gonna throw Harry Potter out there because I grew up on that shit.
Yeah,
nice,
that's a good one.
Yeah,
yeah. That I remember having friends younger that were like, it actually depressed them that they could not go to Hogwarts because it was like so well realized in the movies. It's pretty crazy.
I spent years of my life hoping that a letter was coming for me. I'm embarrassed to say how many years, actually.
You lost hope last year, didn't you?
You wanted to be the held back kid at Hogwarts.
I was hoping, maybe it was just wrong, because I started reading those books when I was like 7. So I had like a good 4 years to build it up, and then a good like so many years after to, be heartbroken about it.
Well, if we're throwing out early 2000s fantasy franchises, Lord of the Rings, I mean, come on.
That might be the best.
Like, that is such an immersive world, like to the point where, don't they still have like sets that you can tour in New Zealand?
Well, yes, the original sets were not built to last, so they tore them down, but then they immediately replaced them with the government of New Zealand.
Yeah.
Like, had this happen.
It's like, we have a gold mine.
Permanent sets. The world of the Lord of the Rings is already so deep because of the source material.
Yeah.
It gave them a lot to work with, but oh my God, it's incredible. It really does. I remember a friend of mine in high school said it really well, like the Hobbit movies versus Lord of the Rings, which is the Hobbit movies felt like movies. The Lord of the Rings felt like an experience.
Yes.
And part of that is just how good the world building was. Man. Which we got to hand it to the Kiwis at Weta Workshop and Weta Digital.
Weta?
Speaking of Weta.
Are you going to do it?
Yeah, I'm going to do it. You got to admit that Avatar is
You're
also,
fucking goddamn right.
Is also a very, very masterful.
Never forget it.
Yeah.
You never forget it.
It's so good. I mean, honestly, when we rewatched, Way of Water maybe a month ago, I was really like blown away again. It's just like, not just the Na'vi clans, but the tech, like the human portion, like the technology, their industry, their ships, everything is just like, it seems researched.
Well, James Cameron's really fucking good with that. Like, in Aliens, the like gun rigs that he built that are like a camera Steadicam arm that like stabilize the gun.
Yeah.
It's like, it's so well thought out. But talking about being depressed that you can't go to Hogwarts, like, there was legitimately a term after the first Avatar came out called post-Pandora syndrome. Yeah. Because people were depressed that they could not live on Pandora. And you know what? To all those people, I see you.
Yeah.
Stop.
Very good.
I'm pleased with myself. I'm having a good time.
I'm pleased with you too, Zach.
And then if we want to throw out the other obvious one, Star Wars. Incredibly well,
that deserves a shout out.
Kind of the like original, incredibly well realized world.
Does it have to be live action?
No.
Oh, okay.
What are you thinking?
Oh, I've been thinking about Coco and Coraline.
Coraline. What a picture.
Yeah, because it's like every single, Leica Studios, credible studio, just like the amount of detail that they have like in each frame of that movie is like bananas. Like, I keep coming across videos on TikTok of people like literally just taking a frame of the movie and like finding something new about the world, you know?
Henry fucking Selick, like...
Yeah.
Hollywood's most under-recognized man, because if you ask the average person, they think Tim Burton directed A Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah.
And let me once again state, that is a Henry Selick movie, and I know that it won't do any good because it's called Tim Burton's A Nightmare Before Christmas, but god damn it, Henry Selick is a fucking incredible director.
What did he do for that film?
Tim Burton, he produced
the story.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and he came up with like the bones of the story.
Story by and produced by. Gotcha. Okay. Honestly, you could choose a lot of Tim Burton films.
Yeah.
As like really good
Tim
world
Burton
building.
and Wes Anderson.
But you couldn't choose A Nightmare Before Christmas because that's not a Tim Burton movie.
Movies too. Like, just the amount of detail that they put into like building all of their like sets and worlds,
Yeah.
Like Howl's Moving Castle. Like, there's so much detail even just in his room. Like, I totally believe that this castle, which looks so small from the outside, is just so completely expansive on the inside.
I was going to say Porco Rosso is another really good one of just like a really, really well realized world.
And it's just like a kind of incorporating like a bunch of things that are like kind of from history, to build it too.
Yeah.
So to throw out a Nolan movie, I think Inception has a very well realized world.
Yeah,
and in particular, the scene where you see all of the people who are like addicted to, who can't sleep normally anymore.
Right, yeah.
So they have to like use the dream machines. Like that doesn't really serve the plot at all.
Yeah.
It just kind of fleshes out this world. I think that that's probably his most fully realized world.
Yeah. One of my favorite scenes in that movie is when Elliot Page is like kind of exploring like a dream world for the first time and starts taking like pieces of the world and like kind of moving it around like a mirror door or something. I don't know. That was just like a very fascinating way of seeing somebody like learn to navigate this. Yeah, it's great.
This doesn't have to do with the world of Inception, but it still kind of blows my mind when I hear people like, I don't get Inception.
It spends
like,
an hour explaining itself to you.
It's kind of weird. Like some people talk about Inception the way I talked about Tenet, which is like it's almost completely inaccessible. And I don't know, it works for me. Like I'm never lost.
Like truly.
I loved Inception when it came out.
That movie blew my mind when it came out. I saw that in theaters.
Yeah,
incredible.
Yeah, no, I loved it.
You gotta give a shout out. And you know what? I'd even throw this in with the world building, but Hans Zimmer's score for Inception.
I mean, it changed the fucking game.
Film. Yeah, so good.
Zach,
that's me.
Oh no, go finish your thought.
I'm going to throw out another obvious one. Blade Runner.
Yeah.
The original and Blade Runner 2049 are, they're so good. Yeah. They're so well realized. That feels like, again, the word I like to use to describe a really good world building film, it just seems rich with detail in history and logic within the story world.
I like that Blade Runner 2049, like, the world has progressed.
Yeah.
Like, it feels like time has passed and the technology
since
has
the
changed.
original, you mean?
Yeah, like it doesn't try to just recreate the tech of the original. It thinks about how that would develop.
I saw the preview for Dune 2 coming out, and I feel like that movie's going to make the list, you know? So I feel like, we can just mention it. And I wanted to make Zach happy.
I didn't even think of that. That's a good one.
Dune
is a really good one.
Dune. And then I'm going to pivot, and I'm going to say Elvis, because the production designer is incredible. We love Catherine Martin.
You know, I actually...
you just wanted to...
I don't know if you're going to like this, but
I wanted to dump on you. Just real quick.
Really agree with this.
You guys just wanted... You saw me soaring and you wanted
looking for trouble,
clip my wings.
You came to the right place.
Icarus your wings!
I guess like we don't have to count that.
No, we do, and we are, because that is a good world-building film.
It's on the record now. It's on the fucking record.
You're right, Alexis. Don't apologize. It's very low class.
I'm going to say The Matrix.
Yep.
All of the Matrix films.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's another one that has a sequel that was filmed years later, takes place years later, and the world has progressed.
Yes.
Love those movies. The Wachowskis are fucking incredible with world building. Cloud Atlas, even Jupiter Ascending, which is a fucking mess, has like an incredibly well realized world. Speed Racer.
I was going to say Speed Racer, a movie that I have not seen, but I'm familiar with how good the world building is.
Yeah.
I have to give a shout out to another good builder of worlds, which is
James Wan in Aquaman.
I was going to say Stanley Kubrick.
Oh.
Similar
filmmakers.
Fictional story, but a real era. Barry Lyndon. That movie.
Barry Lyndon,
my God.
I gotta watch Barry Lyndon. I gotta watch that movie.
Alexis, correct me. That's a Regency period, right?
Regency?
Isn't it?
I'm not 100 on that. Oh, Mitchie, stop it.
But anyways, the world building in that, again, it's just recreating I think it's the early 1800s, mid to early 1800s, but it's perfect. The whole movie looks like an oil painting. You feel like you're brought back to that time. And then I also have to give a shout out, sci-fi wise, to 2001, Space Odyssey.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy how that movie predated the lunar race. Like, it was happening while they made it. But if you look at how they designed the spacecrafts, and because everything before it was like rockets with fins that would land upright the way SpaceX does now, which is kind of crazy. But back then, they were like in 2001, they were like these little lunar modules, and they had like iPads. Which, by the way, when there was a patent dispute about like tablets. I believe it was either Apple or Samsung, like actually in court showed a clip from 2001 saying, hey, no one owns this because Stanley Kubrick invented it in the 60s.
With it in the fucking 60s.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Wow.
The world building of 2001, it's a movie that's easy to fall asleep to, I'll say it. But the world building is almost unmatched with that one. It's so good.
All right. Alexis, any others?
No, but I do have an answer for Mick.
For what?
It is technically the
For Barry Lyndon.
the Georgian era, but because the
Georgian
Regency era is a sub-genre of the Georgian era, which is like longer. So technically Barry Lyndon takes place in like the late 1700s, and like what we really think of like Regency era from like Jane Austen stuff is really like the early to like mid 1800s.
Okay.
Yeah.
I buy into that. Thank you, Alexis.
Thank you for teaching corner.
Our period
clothes
piece
look a little
master
different,
here.
So, yeah.
Nice.
Well, one other movie
Pirates of
I'd
the
like
Caribbean.
to... Yeah. But one other movie I'd like to bring up is 3,000 Years of Longing, which is a George Miller film.
Yeah.
It's incredibly well realized.
George Miller,
3 different periods.
He's not known for his world building.
No.
But
No, not at
3,000
all.
Years of Longing, really good.
But I'm kind of wondering if he like built maybe another world
Babe.
over. Well, he only did Babe.
Oh my
too,
God,
Pig in the
I
City.
love Babe.
Happy Feet.
Well, yeah, but I'm kind of wondering if he built
That was
a
a
world
classic, a banger.
over a series of like 3 different films, and then kind of somehow
Like, took a break or
perfected
something?
it. Yeah, and just like elevated it in a massive way in the
you're-
final film
Like
in
a
the franchise.
big
Oh,
Blockbuster?
you're talking about the Witches of Eastwick trilogy.
No, that's not what it is. Alexis, could you help me out?
Yeah, what is it?
Is it the Mad Max?
Whoa.
Oh, what a day!
I forgot all about
What a
that.
lovely, lovely
Yeah.
day.
So shiny, so chrome.
Yeah, that's right. To close out Blockbuster Month, we are talking about 2015's Mad Max Fury Road, starring Charlize Theron, Tom Hardy, and Nicholas Hoult.
Yeah.
Damn.
Directed.
I'm actually incredibly pleased
George
with my
Miller.
selection. Like,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. So you've probably been tracking this, folks. We've tried to pick a pivotal like a milestone blockbuster from different eras, from the 80s up until the 2010s, and we were trying to think what would the 2010s be. And Alexis correctly suggested Mad Max Fury Road. So good.
Did this come out in 2015 or?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. I saw this in
kinda
theaters
crazy.
when it came out.
Yeah.
Me too.
With my dad,
Because-
actually.
We covered the movie that this lost Best Picture to, which was Spotlight.
Oh.
That's a tough one, man. That's a tough one.
Yeah. You know that it is time, Robbie. We gotta nail these scumbags. We gotta show them that nobody can get away with this. Not a priest
or a
cardinal or a friggin' pope.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's it.
Alexis,
That's
you
it.
kind of sounded like JFK just now.
Not a priest or
Not
a cardinal.
or a frickin' pope. We choose to go to the moon.
He was from Boston.
He was, and he's Catholic.
No, I was just
Wasn't
playing
he?
with
Yeah, he
my
was
dog
Catholic.
and doing voices.
I love it.
But yeah, Mad Max Fury Road. We all saw this in theaters, I believe.
Oh yeah, okay. So I was so almost unreasonably hyped for this movie when it was coming out back 2013, 2014. I remember at Comic-Con they released some still images of just the wasteland and all of the cars they built, and I was thinking, because I grew up watching Mad Max 2 Road Warrior and loved it. Love the whole world. I love cars. It's post-apocalyptic. It's fantastic. And so when they were returning to it with the original director, I was so fucking excited. And I still maintain that I try not to watch movie trailers that much anymore because I like going in fresh. But back then, I used to watch them all the time, and I still maintain that Mad Max has some of the best trailers of any movie.
Yeah.
Like, just watch any of them, and they bang, man. They're fucking good. Yeah, they bang.
I'd never seen any of the Mad Max movies, so I honestly had no idea like what it was about.
Oh,
but
really?
I saw those trailers and I was like,
oh, wow.
Because I was going to the movie, you know, I went to the movies with my parents like a lot, you know, and
yeah,
I saw that trailer and I was like, holy shit, that looks like it's gonna be like really fucking good, and it fucking was, you know, it did not disappoint.
I would argue that this is in contention. I said this, I believe, on our Thing episode, and I said this on our Silence of the Lambs episode.
Mm-hmm.
This is in contention for one of the best movies we've ever covered, in my view.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Mad Max Fury Road is like a stone cold, capital M, masterpiece, 5 stars, no notes.
We don't like to throw around the M word that much.
I'm dropping it down. I'm dropping it hard. So something that we talked about on our last episode was how we didn't really want to start with a sequel.
Yes.
When talking about movies,
correct.
like we talked about Spider-Man as opposed to Spider-Man 2, even though I think that Spider-Man 2 is the better movie in that series.
Right.
But Alexis, I was in the same boat as you. I had never seen a Mad Max movie. I've still only seen The Road Warrior and Fury Road. This is such an accessible movie. It is. In an age where like a lot of franchises get picked up decades later and capitalize on nostalgia for the original property.
It's a legacy
of a
sequel.
Repackage,
this is,
you know, basically.
Yeah. This is not a legacy sequel. This is, but it's not really because it doesn't bring back the original cast.
I mean, but it's still revisiting a world that the audiences are kind of nostalgic.
If anything, you could say it's kind of a remake almost. Because, you know, it brings in a new actor, or, you know, it's kind of in the James Bond vein where it like changes faces, but it's the same franchise. It is not a movie that you need to have any knowledge of the Mad Max franchise.
Yeah, like I don't feel that I need to see the movies to like understand this movie.
No, you don't.
To connect to it, I don't need to have seen those other movies.
There's
unlike like Top Gun Maverick, it's like that you have to have seen Top Gun to like really, I think, connect.
Yeah,
there's a couple of small Easter eggs in Mad Max Fury Road that you can kind of interpret as, oh, this is not a remake. It's kind of connecting. Like this is a sequel.
Yeah, there's stuff that you can see that's fun,
but it's open to interpretation,
and you don't need it.
It's not concrete exactly, and you don't need it. Really quickly, we skipped over it really quickly. I just want to read it. So if you don't know what Mad Max Fury Road is,
I'm so ready to hear a synopsis of this because that's like the funniest thing I could picture.
Years after the collapse of civilization, Pee Wee Herman looks for his...
Wait.
Years after the collapse of civilization, the tyrannical Immortan Joe enslaves apocalypse survivors inside the desert fortress, the Citadel. When the warrior Imperator Furiosa leads the despot's 5 wives in a Despots, thank you. 5 wives in a daring escape. She forges an alliance with Max Rokotansky, a loner and former captive. Fortified in the massive armored truck, the War Rig, they try to outrun the ruthless warlord and his henchmen in a deadly high-speed chase through the wasteland. I think they watched the movie.
Yeah,
I think that's okay.
I think
it's pretty basic, yeah.
It's also wordy. Like
it is really wordy. It kind of tells you basically.
I would have just written car chases. I would have just written car chases. Go boom, boom, car chase.
Yeah,
That's it.
Literally, like if you want to boil this plot down to its most basic essentials, drive one way, drive the other.
Yeah, you drive in one direction, do a U-turn, drive back, and it's great.
This is something that George Miller talked about when he was conceptualizing this movie. So. A little bit of historical context for this. George Miller reacquired the rights for Mad Max, I believe, in 1995, 97 maybe, because originally Warner Brothers had the rights to Mad Max. He sold them.
Right.
And then George Miller was supposed to direct the movie Contact. And he did a bunch of work on it.
Yeah.
And then they
Which I still would have loved to have seen that.
Yeah. But they ultimately didn't go with him, hired Robert Zemeckis.
Yeah.
And he sued for breach of contract. And in that lawsuit, he regained the rights to Mad Max.
Nice.
And apparently he was like, I believe he said he was at the grocery store and then just like had an idea where he was like, what if I did a Mad Max movie that was all one long car chase?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, that's the movie.
It is, and it's very much. That's why I think this is the spiritual successor to Road Warrior.
Yeah,
because it's most similar, where it's just kind of like one giant car chase. I would say Fury Road is more of a car chase. But yeah, it's incredible. How old was he when he made this film? He's like in his early 70s.
I think so.
Which is nuts.
Yeah, I cannot, like, I've been watching behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah.
And I still cannot begin to fathom.
Yeah, it's incredible
how fucking difficult this shoot must have been.
Yeah, I mean, even Tom Hardy was like, there was rumors when they were making this that like Tom Hardy and Charlize Theron are not getting along.
Those are not rumors. They have confirmed that.
There was rumors that like Tom Hardy was giving George Miller a rough time.
He has confirmed that as well.
That's right, because he didn't see the vision.
Yeah, Tom Hardy admits to both of these things.
And when he saw the film, finally, he's like, "Oh my God, George Miller knew exactly what he was doing." And that helps because this movie was storyboarded within an inch of its life.
There was no like formal script for this movie.
Yeah.
It was all storyboards. It was all visual, which makes sense because this is arguably like the most visual movie ever made.
Yeah.
Even though there is dialogue.
Yeah. George Miller said it's kind of like Hitchcock, where it's like he wanted to make a movie where like if you didn't hear any dialogue and you didn't even get subtitles, you could still...
Yeah, it's the thing that Spielberg said, yeah.
Okay, right. Spielberg, you could still follow the story. You still know roughly what's going on, even if you don't hear anything that's happening. And I think they nail it. And because they storyboarded so much of this film, what's so great about it, like when I rewatched it the other day, is when shots change in a cut, the object of the shot, what your eyes focus on, quite often stays in the same place on screen.
And it's almost always in the middle of the frame.
It's almost always in the middle. So that way your eyes aren't darting around the screen to kind of like keep track of what's happening, because this movie is just chaos. So you have to shoot it in such a considered way where the human eye can just focus on the center of the screen and it's all cut to and framed to adhere to that, and it's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. That, prior preparation prevents a piss poor production. They fucking were glued to that motto for this film, clearly, because it's so good.
Yeah.
Yes. What do you need something?
I'm just hanging.
We're just
fucking hanging out.
We're good.
I was really enjoying his explanation of that. So.
Yeah, good job, buddy.
Hey, thanks.
I'm proud of you.
I rehearsed that last night in front of me.
Wow, that would be the first time ever for anyone on this podcast.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I'm really going to make sure I say the thing that I thought about yesterday. It's never happened for me once.
Yeah, no. Yeah, everything always exits my brain once I get in here. And unless I actually took notes during the movie, I have nothing to go on.
Okay, so I watched this movie twice. I watched it right before we recorded, and I watched it with Mick and took notes.
Right.
And I felt like I needed to watch it again because this is, again, such a visual movie that, like, you look down for, like, a second to write down notes.
Yeah.
And you've missed things. Like,
you've missed, like, 12 shots.
Yeah, I didn't take any notes this time because, like, I was like, you know what? I just really like this movie. I own this movie, like, on Amazon. So I was literally watching it on my iPad in the, like, motel room last night because I was just like, I gotta watch it. Thankfully, I own it on my fucking iPad, so...
Hell yeah. Okay, question for you guys. You trying to rock out at the Bullet Farm, or are you more of a Gastown boy?
Bullet Farm for sure.
Your Bullet Farm?
Yep.
You're coming from the Bullet Farm? Alexis?
Yep.
Bullet Farm, Gas Farm. I didn't really like the Gas Farm guy. He was...
Yeah. He's gross.
It's Gastown.
He rubs his nipples and I don't like it.
Are we talking about the people eater?
Yeah, the people
because that's
leader.
the guy. That's the guy who's in charge of Gastown. His name is the People Eater.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. His name was the People Eater. I'm not down. I can't live like that.
You raise a good point. Let's talk about character names in the Mad Max world,
Because it fits in with the world building of this.
Absolutely, it does.
I think that potentially my favorite name from this movie is, oh my god, Rictus Erectus.
Yeah, the big
His
dude.
big baby
I thought it was
son.
just Rictus.
No, his
Rictus
name is Rictus
Erectus.
Erectus.
Wow.
I love that.
Need we say more?
His entire outfit is covered in like little baby heads.
Yeah.
Like I watched the behind the scenes of this and was like looking at the production design,
Which is great. The behind the scenes on the Blu-ray is fantastic.
There were so many things that I just like haven't noticed in this movie.
Yeah.
Because it flies fucking
Again,
by.
rich in detail.
Yeah, like the dashboard in the Immortan Joe's car is like covered in logos from different cars that he's killed the owners of.
Right.
Like it's his fucking bling.
Okay. Yeah.
Like that's such a crazy detail that like is never like you never see like a big wide shot of that.
What I love is his rig is 2 Cadillac DeVilles stacked on top of each other, and the production designer, the guy who built all the cars, because they built all of these, they're all the functioning real vehicles, and he said that in this wasteland where there's pretty much only one of something, Immortan Joe has 2 of this, and it speaks to how egotistical he is.
He's the P. Diddy of the wasteland.
That's correct.
Doesn't he say that?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think he does say that. Yeah. And George Miller was like he told the production team, like, look, even though this is a post-apocalyptic wasteland, that does not mean that humans would abandon design and creation. Like they would still make things that they felt were beautiful.
I have the quote written down. He said,
fire it off.
A big mistake of every post-apocalyptic movie is to make everything look like a junkyard, and that doesn't hold up to human nature. Even early Paleolithic man could make beautiful cave paintings. So, like, he understands that, like, as human beings, we would still be trying to create art and create, dare I say, spectacle.
There you go.
So, you know. It's almost like that's a really valuable thing to talk about in a film.
Yeah.
It's kind of what filmmaking is like largely about.
I love the names of the baby makers. His prized cattle.
His prized breeders.
His prized breeders.
His precious breeders.
Yeah. Also, okay. First time I watched this.
Knowing.
Toast the knowing, right? Okay, and then capable. I'm just like, and she was really like just down for anything. Like she really just like had a handle on everything. Splendid. Cheeto the Fragile is her full name, which made so much sense. She was the first one to be like, let me go back.
Yeah.
And that's something that I really like about this movie is like there are so many female characters in this that you don't run into kind of the typical action movie thing that I feel like a lot of men do when they're writing female characters. They're like, oh, well, I want her to be strong, so she's just like a super capable badass who's good at everything and is, you know, dialed in and means business. And it's like this movie has female characters who get to be fallible and weak.
You have a range
vulnerable.
of female characters in there.
You get fully realized human beings. Because this movie is like primarily its main cast is made up of women, and it doesn't it doesn't make a point about that either. Like it doesn't congratulate itself for having a mostly female cast, which I feel like
having a feminist perspective
is
doesn't
something
self-congratulate.
Yeah, it's something that particularly I've seen Marvel movies do, where like all of the women superheroes will like get together in a line in a big team up movie and be like, girls are gonna get it done. And this movie is just like, no, it's a cast of women.
Right. Like girls are gonna get it done. We don't have to say it. It's just gonna happen.
Yeah.
It's really great. And didn't they bring on it was like a journalist or something, like a female journalist that dealt with female victims, basically sex slaves of actual dictators in real life.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
I'm pretty sure. And like help George Miller kind of like rewrite the script to basically like correctly portray what happens when women are subjugated by dictator figures, and had a big hand in like kind of the crafting of the female characters. And if you recall, when this movie came out, it was kind of derided by idiots of saying this. God, like this isn't even like a Mad Max movie. Like it's just women. Like this is an action film disguised as, or it's a feminist film disguised like a man movie, which is garbage.
Oh no.
Yeah.
What a shame.
I believe even like a Cannes film festival, like even like a journalist asked Charlize Theron, like, what is it like being like a man movie? Like something like that. And there was like this awkward silence. And I think like no one said anything. And then Tom Hardy like leaned in and said, can I answer that? Yeah, that's bullshit. Yeah, so that's part of what makes this movie just so beautiful and rewatchable is it's a feminist film, and that's really cool.
You know, I guess I don't know if I thought of it that way necessarily, but I definitely probably liked this movie so much because it had like a mainly female cast, but it was also an action movie. So it was like, oh, there's like not only just the action, but it's like actual characters that like I care about.
I mean, fucking Furiosa. What a goddamn performance.
Yeah.
I love that the decision to have her have a shaved head was made by Charlize Theron. Because they were going through like all these different like drawings and character designs of Furiosa, and she was like,
most
"Look, I'm getting sick. I'm getting sick of all these different like ideas we're having about my hair, and I just had a baby, and I'm gonna be really fucking sick of doing hair and makeup every single morning
in the desert.
Just shave my fucking head and like." It's an iconic look.
100%. It is the most practical,
fantastic.
You know?
Yeah, no, I mean, it makes sense. That you could throw that into the world building. It makes sense. She doesn't want to fuck around with like her hair.
Yeah.
Just shave it.
Yeah. I love that like we understand what Furiosa's backstory is without being told what it is. Like you see,
and we don't get flashbacks.
Yeah, no, and like we see the like brand on her neck, and the wives all talk about how they've been tattooed on their backs to show that they're Immortan Joe's wives.
They're his property.
And you can kind of draw your conclusions as to what that might have meant for Furiosa's past.
Yeah.
Without, you know, it being spoon-fed to you. It's really great. And man, the shot of her on the dune when she finds out that the green place has turned sour and she already drove through it, like...
And the music in that moment, too.
I get chills and tear up every single time that happens.
Yeah.
It might be like my favorite shot from the 21st century.
It's incredible.
It is so good and so affecting. Man, what a picture.
Yeah. No, it's incredible. And again, with the music, like Junkie XL.
Great score.
Unbelievable. And he said, when a lot of people are saying like how good the music is for this,
great record.
He's maintained that like part of why it's so good is because he had years to work on this.
Yeah, Junkie XL, we're a big fan of your records too.
Wow.
Oh my God. I'm Junkie XL. I'm the leader of the Beatles. Jesus.
Listen, you don't want no part of this.
But talk about a movie with great world building.
Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story. God. A movie that we do have to cover on this podcast at some point.
Honestly, that would be off topic. That would be a good comedy month pick.
Yeah.
That would be really good.
I mean, I'm glad you said off topic, Mick, because we're always so on topic.
That's what we're known for.
Really are.
Like we're always so just so focused that I appreciate you making that delineation.
I had to like just warn the audience what I was about to say was not with Mad Max Fury Road.
Okay,
yeah, no, that's good.
The guitar guy though, just like slaying the day away.
Do for you, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, George Miller was like, hey, back in the day, armies would have drummers, marching drums to just kind of get them in the mood. And why would they not have that in the post-apocalypse world?
And what if instead of a drummer, we had a man
We had
with
6 drummers
we
on
had
the
6
back.
drummers and a man with a double-necked electric guitar that also functions as a flamethrower.
Which
we built that for fucking real.
Yeah, that's an actual flamethrower, real working guitar that they made for the film.
Can we just give that to the guy who played that in the movie and have him do concerts with
he's
it?
Just
Incredible.
And he's in like some sort of like prosthetic too, isn't he? Or some sort of face covering.
Yes. Yeah, he's got a face cover, and when it comes off at the end of the movie, he has like no eyes.
Yeah, his eyes are like sealed shut, and he's got like fucked up teeth and shit. That's amazing.
Man. I just love that, like, he never stops playing. Like, after he has his fight with Max, and Max, like, jumps back onto the war rig, and the guitar, like, shoots back towards him, starts playing again.
Goddamn
He's
right.
a
The show
fucking
must go
consummate
on,
professional.
guys, you know?
That's what the doof does.
The doof does it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's incredible.
Back to the wives, though. When I first saw this movie, you know how I have a thing for redheads, I don't think I'd really
Are we
ever
about
seen...
to bring up Riley Keough?
Yeah, like, I don't think I'd ever seen her in anything before, and I saw this movie, and I was like, wow. Wow.
She's beautiful.
Well, it's really interesting, too,
gorgeous.
because both her and Zoe Kravitz, like, weren't super big names at the time, and like have since gone on to have really solid careers. Like, much like in Sam Raimi's Spider-Man movies, a lot of the smaller parts have gone on to be big actors.
Mm-hmm.
I made a little note. So in the moment where after Furiosa and Max and the wives have met up with what remains of the many mothers, and one of the older women is talking about how back in the before times, everyone had a show. Mm-hmm. I'm really looking forward to when we get to Mad Max World, which feels like it's, getting closer and closer every day as the heat just, ratchets up and water becomes more and more scarce.
The water wars.
Yeah. Precious aqua-cola.
Sorry.
Do not
Can we
become
just say,
addicted to water.
I saw a meme the other day. It was like, how is it that water has been a beverage of humanity for so long and we don't have a good nickname for it? Like beers
Aqua-cola.
are brewskis. Like we don't call it, hey, pass me the moist. You know what is? Aqua-cola.
Do not become addicted to water. You will resent its absence.
It's so cool.
But no, her talking about how everyone had a show back in the day. I'm just really excited to, like, in the wasteland be like, I had this show called The Film Majors. And we talk about other shows. We talk about movies. It was a show about shows.
Yeah.
And they're not going to know what the fuck I'm talking about. But, I'm just going to take my last swig of Aqua-Cola and go, do not become addicted to it.
I think out of all the points that the three of us have made on this episode, that's the best one.
Yeah.
That's up there.
Aren't you guys excited to have our little fucking enclave in the wasteland?
Hey, I know who I'm going to hang out with when the post-apocalypse happens.
Hey, guys.
My fellow film majors.
You're goddamn right.
Desperately trying to find a power source so that we can run our Blu-ray player in the desert wasteland.
Me and my sister had just been talking about how she couldn't survive without having like there was this big deal about her having water before she went to bed, right? And I was just like, wow, man, Natalie, like this whole world is basically just the absence of water. And I feel like we couldn't hang out together if there was no water because like I think you would fucking go ape shit and like you would turn into like the Terminators.
You looked at Natalie.
Yeah.
You looked at Natalie and you were like, do not become addicted to water.
Yeah.
Kind of, actually, yeah.
Man, okay, I understand why the War Boys do what they do. Like Immortan Joe's an evil bastard, but if you're a little guy who's been absolutely fried by radiation, and you're going to die,
Okay, so
that seems like a pretty fun existence. You get to hang out with your boys,
Do they exist in the other movies?
No. This is a creation of the Fury Road. But
it's a fun thing with the Mad Max movies where he just kind of wanders around the wasteland and like runs into new kind of enclaves.
Yeah. Max Rockatansky's kind of always a secondary character. He doesn't really fuel the plot.
Yeah, even when
he's kind of just ride along.
Even when he's sort of the main focus of the story, it's not his conflict.
It's from his perspective, but exactly, it's not his conflict, which I kind of like. It's kind of fun.
Yeah, it feels very like Western-y. It feels kind of Shane.
Yeah. But going back to the War Boys, we talked about this a little bit when we watched it, but obviously Immortan Joe is a bastard. But that scene where
Nux
is like, I'll spike her in the back of the skull and
keep her alive.
And Immortan Joe is like, no, like shoot her, like get my wives, seize the war rig, and I will see myself.
I myself will carry you to the gates of Valhalla.
And in that shot, the way it's lit, the wind going through his crispy hair, the music just soaring upwards in that moment, I'm kind of like, fuck, like I kind of see why they follow this guy.
Mediocre.
Because it's like he does have this weird power to him.
Yeah,
And
he understands the value of spectacle.
He does.
God, if only there's a movie about that.
Done.
No, yes, it can. Wrong. Mediocre.
I knew immediately.
I'm talking about Nope, just so we know.
Oh.
Yeah, no, what a design for a villain too.
Yeah,
like
it's incredible.
Yeah.
Which like little carapace
my
that
God,
they built out of
the way he dies though is so hardcore. I fucking love
it's incredible.
it.
His face gets ripped off.
Face.
Yeah, that's Hugh Keys Byrne, who plays Immortan Joe, and he was the villain in the first Mad Max movie.
Yeah,
back in the late 70s, early
70s.
Yeah. He's obviously much younger in that, but he's also a madman in that movie, but completely different.
Yeah.
Completely different characters.
It's also like, that's got to be such a crazy pitch to a studio. Like, okay, so I'm making my Mad Max sequel. Oh, great. So Mel's not going to be in it, obviously.
Right.
All right, so who are you going to cast as Mad Max? Oh, Tom Hardy. All right,
Love
yeah,
it.
he's kind of up and coming. Because at this point, when they made the movie, because they shot it in like, I think they shot it in like 2011, maybe 2012. Mm-hmm. Tom Hardy hadn't really broken out as like a star when they cast him, because they cast him, I think, in 2009, which was before Inception.
Yeah, and that was the first time I had ever seen Tom Hardy.
Yeah,
was
like
Inception.
they were basically casting him on the strength of the movie Bronson, which is
Right.
a very good movie, but like an indie movie.
Yeah.
So like, okay, so you've got this kind of up and coming leading man. Okay, Charlize Theron, that's good. And then okay, so maybe we get the villain as like someone who's going to play the villain. Oh no, it's going to be my mate.
Yeah.
From the Fast film.
Yeah, no, there's some like really good just Australian actors that they throw in this that you would never know because they don't have big names, but it's so cool that they get a chance to be in this film and they all kill it.
I do.
Every character is so good.
This movie is
does that
kind of
mean
what I
the
picture.
girl that plays the Dag, is she Australian?
I think so, yeah. I think basically anyone who's not like one of the principal cast.
They're all Aussie actors.
You know, I kept trying to think to myself, why do so many of these characters have Australian accents? Now I have my answer.
Yeah, it takes place in Australia.
They didn't shoot it in Australia mostly. Like they did pickups in Australia, but it was shot in Namibia.
Yeah, and the thing behind that is every other Mad Max movie has been shot in Australia. It takes place in Australia. Mm-hmm. They're Australian movies. And they were going to do the same with Mad Max Fury Road. But like right before they went to film, they had an abnormally long wet season. And it caused this massive super bloom of wildflowers.
Yeah, it turned the desert into like an oasis.
Yeah, it looked like something out of Wizard of Oz. They're like, this is not going to work for the wasteland.
That happened to them twice. Yeah. So even before that, though, like George Miller was ramping up to do this movie in 2001. They were planning on shooting at the end of 2001.
Wow.
9/11.
Right.
The American economy tanks.
Right.
They're like, okay, we're going to postpone this to, I think it's sometime in
George
2000...
Miller and the Spotlight team got fucked by 9/11, man.
Yeah, and Spider-Man.
And Spider-Man. And the victims of the attack got fucked by it, too. But you know what?
And Spider-Man.
Yeah, Spider-Man. Spider-Man mostly.
So then they're like, okay, we're going to push this a year and some change into 2003.
Right.
The invasion of Iraq happens.
Right, Iraq happens. God damn it.
They're like, Islamophobia is at a fucking all-time high. We're like, oh, we don't want to shoot this in a Muslim country.
Yeah.
So the movie just gets like fucking shelved. Like, the fact that this movie exists is a goddamn miracle.
It's amazing.
Because it took, from George Miller, like, having the germ of this idea, it took 20 years.
Yeah. How long did it take to make this movie? Well, there's a good chance that Mel Gibson was going to be in
He
this.
was. Like,
That's how long it took to make this. Yeah.
He was like incredibly fucking hot coming off of What Women Want.
That damn Mel Gibson is so hot
I've seen that movie so many times.
Yeah, and What Do Women Want? Apparently,
they want Mel Gibson.
An Australian anti-Semite?
Yeah.
What?
I
don't know about that, women.
Say less right now.
Yeah, I think you guys need to rethink that. Okay, fun little detail.
I love fun little... I also like fun big details, but whatever.
Okay,
I'll take what I can get.
I love the just like lingo in this movie. Obviously, Aquacola is so fun.
Fang it.
Fang it is another good one. When they're going to like speed the cars up, they say, fang it.
Yeah.
I love it, yeah.
Apparently that initially came from, I think they shot the bit where Nux like speeds up his car and his pole boy says fang it.
Yep.
He says that because Nux's gear shift has dentures on it. So it has fangs.
That's crazy.
So to speed his car up, he's going to fang it.
Wow.
But then Furiosa says it later. It's just like a good term.
That's interesting. Speaking of, that's so weird. That's another dental thing because I know Immortan Joe's mask is
horse teeth.
Horse teeth.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why it looks so sinister because that's a horse's jaw and teeth, which is why it looks so gross. It's incredible. Again, the design of this it's second to none. It's fantastic.
Wow. Mm. You know, I watched this really high last night and I'd also had like a glass of wine at the restaurant. And you know the part where fucking Nux and Capable are just like laying down and he's talking about his tumors.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Larry and Barry.
Yeah, Larry and Barry, man. They got their own little smiley faces on his little tumors.
Larry and Barry squeezing on me windpipe.
Yeah.
If they don't get me, the night fevers will. Please tell me why my immediate thought after that scene was, not the likeliest like foursome I've ever thought about, you know, Larry, Barry.
Oh my God. Wait, you mean? Oh my God!
If you're fucking Nux, it becomes a foursome.
That's an automatic foursome right there. Choking on his windpipe.
God,
Jesus!
These are the fucking insights people come here for.
This is why the film majors exist. It's for stuff like that.
These are the things I'll talk about in the wasteland.
I am a big fan of tumors that are kind of personified. You don't get that enough anymore.
Yeah, man.
Like little like tumors that have their own personality. Like you get that in Hellboy 2.
Yeah, you get that. Yeah, you do get it. God, that's a movie with great world building.
That
Hellboy
is
2.
Yeah. Anyways, I love a tumor that is a character.
Man, yeah.
We have to cut the cancer out. That's one of the best ones.
Oh my God.
That's Malignant, folks. If you haven't seen it, watch it now.
Good. Let's talk about other movies.
Just saying, man. I love a good tumor movie. And this is one of them. That's what our topic should have been. What's your favorite tumor film?
A Walk to Remember, if we're going to be specific.
Yes.
Phenomena.
Yes. See, there's so many. You don't realize... Okay. Can I just say, next year...
Do not become addicted to tumor movies.
Yeah, next year, Boat Month is canceled.
To resent their
It's gonna be Tumor Month, not Boat Month.
Okay, after
I could probably do Tumor Boat Month.
Comments and then these, I think we should just stop the podcast.
Don't forget, we joked about 9/11 too. We stuck
Guys,
that in.
we need to keep this locked into our minds so that when we're in the wasteland, we have things to look back on fondly.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
You might call it a temporal pincher movement.
a temporal pincer movie, baby.
That's what I'm saying, man.
Yes. So a setup and payoff that I really enjoy in this movie is you get to like understand something about Max's like essential nature through the fact that he is a universal donor. Like, he is trying to deny his urges to help people and care for people, and he's saying that hope is a mistake. And when you get to the end of the movie, like, quite honestly, Max's big hero moment is not like him killing fucking Rictus Erectus because he doesn't.
Nope. He doesn't kill
Morton Joe because he doesn't.
Furiosa.
His big hero moment is giving his blood to Furiosa. Yeah. I think that's neat.
No, that is really cool. And how he just kind of walks away at the end. Yeah. And it actually is pretty emotional.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
Thank you. And then also, when he says like, "Oh, my name is Max," you know, like he finally feels like he's going to reveal himself. Basically, you know, he wants her to know him.
That's right. Because earlier in the canyons with like the biker gangs, she's like, "What's your name? What do I call you?" He's like, "Doesn't matter." He's like, "Fine. When I yell fool, you fucking book it."
Yeah.
And then that's a big like setup and payoff at the end where he says, "My name is Max."
Yeah.
My name is Max. And then you feel like, oh shit, like he's opening. Not only is he opening himself up, but he's kind of literally doing it by giving her his blood.
And it speaks to how minimal the dialogue is in this movie. That like, "My name is Max" is so impactful.
Yeah.
Partially because that's like one of the few things that he fucking says.
Yeah. He spends like the first half of the movie not saying any words at all, just grunting.
Yeah. I've kind of theorized that Tom Hardy, I think he kind of fears his own good looks in a way because like so often he covers his face in film. And I've always kind of maintained this because he doesn't want to get pigeonholed as the hot guy because he is the hot guy in real life. So when he's going to play a part, he wants it to be meaty and something different and out of pocket. And this is something Christopher Nolan has mentioned about The Dark Knight Rises, which is like Tom Hardy is so good at acting and emoting with his eyes only.
Yes.
So like when he has that pitchfork mask on in the beginning of Mad Max, his acting is just so good in that. Like you just see Tom Hardy is so good in this movie.
He's incredible.
He's really because he's grunting and it's like exactly. And he's just so fucking good at it. And also the fight scene between him and Furiosa at the War Rig when they first officially meet is hands down one of the best hand-to-hand combat fights you got in the 2010s.
Well, it also just features one of the things that I love so much in this movie, that like a majority of the footage is either sped up or slowed down.
That's very George Miller.
Like, George Miller wants moments to exist on screen exactly as long as they need to register for you.
Yeah.
And no more. And you see that in that fight scene. Like
cuts
it's so
frames
kinetic.
out and it like speeds up and slows down. In fact, Rogue Nation has a George Miller shot when Tom Cruise comes around the corner and you get a close-up zoom in on Ilsa Faust. It's straight out of Mad Max movies, where it's like this very quick, where they cut frames out and it goes really close in on the face really quickly to just the eyes. That's something George Miller has invented and perfected.
And we got both of those movies the same year.
We didn't get...
Rogue Nation.
That's right.
Rogue Nation came out in 2015.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh wow, what a good movie. What a good year for movies.
That's a good year.
Well, I truly do think that the kind of like 1, 2, 3 punch of John Wick in 2014, Rogue Nation and Mad Max Fury Road in 2015, really did kind of mark a correction for the action genre to be much more practical and, you know, much more patient and allow you to see the action play out in the frame.
People who gave a shit about making good action finally had agency to do it.
Yeah.
Or funding, I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
It's incredible because I agree. Course correction is the best way to say it because I think there has been a market improvement of action.
Oh, absolutely.
Since then.
Yeah.
Really good. And then you got fucking Fallout later on. It's great.
I feel like they were getting like really formulaic in a way that was like becoming boring. I don't know. I feel like there was like a bad run of like years for me at the movies, and then like I don't know, like getting into almost like 2015, like that started shifting again back to like, oh shit, I'm so excited to see movies again.
Craftsmanship came back.
Yeah,
and that's great.
Man, I feel kind of bad for Paul Greengrass because I do think that like the shaky cam in Bourne Supremacy,
it does work,
and then
even
it just like
Captain Phillips, it works too.
And then it just kind of like ruined action movies for like a decade.
Yeah, see, that's the fucking problem. Is that so often a pioneer of cinema will do something that everyone loves, and then everyone else will try to rip it off or recreate it, but they do it incorrectly. They take the wrong lessons from it. Yeah. And that's a good example is when Paul Greengrass does shaky cam, it actually really works. It's an aesthetic. And for other films, they do shaky cam because their actors don't know how to properly fight. And if you shake the camera enough, you can't fucking tell.
Yeah.
And that's lazy.
You're goddamn right. You're goddamn right.
I'm getting off our soapbox now.
Hop on down.
Had to say that.
I'll go store it.
Also, I cried when, like, you know, like towards the end where Nux is just like, witness me to fucking capable. Yeah. I just started like, I was not the war boy. Let him live.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Alexis, as a fan of sickly-looking white men, I assume that this movie is just a fucking absolute buffet for choice.
This is not helping me escape that assumption, you know? And
you're never beating the allegations.
So many sick white boys.
I think not. The evidence is just stacking the fuck up. I love Nicholas Hoult. You know I do.
Yeah, he's great in this. Yeah. He's really great in this.
Yeah,
this was good casting.
I think this is my favorite Nicholas Hoult performance. I don't know that I've liked him more in a movie than I do
I'd
here.
agree with that.
Plus, like, he kind of gets two of, like, the iconic lines from this movie, which, you know, for a movie with barely any dialogue, it's very quotable.
What a day. What a lovely day.
Yeah, and witness me. Like, yeah. Let me tell you, I was learning how to drive when this movie came out.
Oh, my God.
Boy, oh, boy, when I hopped in a car, witness me!
Yeah, I've maintained that it's dangerous. It's dangerous driving down the freeway listening to either the Mission Impossible score or the Mad Max score.
I don't play the Mad Max score in my car because I'll get in an accident.
Yeah, you will speed. I've done it. I start playing Junkie XL score while I'm driving on the freeway, and suddenly I'm going 100 trying to crash into semi-trucks. Yeah. You can't help it. It just does it. It fuels you.
Yeah, I'll see Mick wipe out in his car. Mediocre!
Yeah, for real. Speaking of saying the music again, the big sandstorm sequence.
Yeah.
I got to give a little shout out to Bong Joon-ho.
Speak your truth, my war boy.
Where he said that he was like interviewed, because I think he had a movie released around this time, and they asked him, hey, have you...
Snowpiercer would have come out 2014, I think.
Okay.
He which is also a movie with fantastic world building.
That's true. He was interviewed saying, hey, what's something you've seen new that you really appreciate? And he said, I saw George Miller's Mad Max Fury Road, and I have to say, that's a masterpiece. And he said that the sandstorm sequence, he saw it in a cinema, and when you have that giant cyclone and the truck gets blown up and you see the explosions, bang, 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 happening in midair and people flying around, that Bong Joon-ho realized in that moment that he was crying, and he hadn't noticed it until that moment. And he realized that the music and the spectacle was in such synergy and was working for him so much that it actually brought him to tears. And like, there's no fucking better compliment than that, because that's an action sequence that's bringing a masterful director to have an emotional response. And I'm with him. You watch that, it's like something out of anime, like her goggles and the way the lightning is happening, and it just goes black and white for like split seconds.
Well, and like, this is a movie that rightly gets praised for all of its practical stunt work and practical effects. Yeah. But this is a movie that incorporates CGI.
There's a lot of CGI in it, and it's good.
So well.
Yeah.
Like, it really speaks to, like, if you do everything that you can practically, and then use CGI to enhance that, you're gonna get a damn good movie.
Use CGI to lay like a foundation, support the practical effects, and then it'll be a winner.
So back to the world building of this movie. One thing that I just want to say that I think is like so smart with the way this movie addresses its world is like a lot of the time when people build a fictional world, they're like, okay, I want to take you through how all of this stuff works. I put in the work to build out this world, and you're going to see fucking all of it.
Right.
And that doesn't happen in this movie. You see, like, the, V8 religion that Immortan Joe has built.
Yeah.
It's never explained fully what that is, but we understand.
You don't need it.
How the characters relate to it enough. And we know that this is, something that clearly is like complex and has been considered by the creator of the story.
Yeah.
But we only get it in the way that it serves the narrative.
Yeah.
And I think that's like such restraint. And it's funny to say that this is a movie that shows restraint because this is like one of the most insane movies that has ever existed.
Yeah, like when war boys know that they're about to go out to Valhalla, they spray their teeth with chrome spray paint.
Yeah, what the hell is that?
They never explain it, but you buy into it. Because everything is so batshit insane. It's
so
like,
shiny, so chrome.
Hey, this movie has a do-for-you in it. I'm not hung up on why they're spraying themselves with spray paint.
Who the fuck are the guys on the stilts in the slump?
Cats.
Who are
That's
they?
what I wanted
the
to bring
cats.
up. That shit, loved that. Every time I see them, I'm just like, yes, I don't know, this looks dastardly.
What's their deal?
That is dastardly. Well said.
We'll never know what their deal is.
Yeah.
It rules.
Yeah, when they're coming down, the guy has like a hedge trimmer and he like cuts the woman, one of the many mothers with it. Like when he goes down the polecat, that whole sequence is incredible.
Yeah.
And also, I love a good movie explosion. And this movie fucking has it. Also, Road Warrior, the second one, also has a great movie explosion. But this one, when the tanker truck blows up and Max Rokitansky's trying to escape.
And he's like up on the pole.
Yeah, and there's a continuity error with it, and I don't give a shit. Because,
who fucking cares?
Yeah,
I've never noticed.
When he's jumping out of the rig, there's flame enveloping the inside of the cab. And then he jumps to another truck, and then he goes up to the top of the polecat, and then it cuts to the wide where the back of the truck is still exploding, working its way up to the cab, which earlier was already engulfed in flames. I don't give a shit. Doesn't matter. It's fucking epic.
Looks sick.
Yeah, it's fucking great. It's so cool. And I remember there was like, this is a Warner Brothers film, and when they took the production to Namibia, and they were there for almost like a year. Like they were out in the desert for a very, very long time. And George Miller kind of pulled a John Huston. Now, John Huston, famous director, would often do big films out on location, like The African Queen. And he did that because he really didn't jive with the politics of the studios. He hated how they would just hang out on set and insist about their ideas. And he doesn't give a shit who they are or what they have to say. Stay out of my way while I make my movie. That's why he would go off to these exotic locations, because it would be hard for the studios to have access to that.
Yeah.
And in Mad Max Fury Road, Warner Brothers was constantly like, God damn it, like they're not listening to us. We can't even access what's going on. Like it's a fucking dumpster fire.
Well, they shut them down at one point.
Yeah, it's
really
fucking nuts. And yet you watch the final product, like this is why you don't want studio interference, because look what you get.
When I saw that in theaters, I walked out of the theater. I distinctly remember my reaction was just, wow. Like I literally kept saying to my dad, like, wow, that was pretty crazy. Like I was just kind of blown away. I think, but the saturation of it, and then the just batshit craziness that you guys have been talking about with the War Boys and shit like that, and all the rigs and like the different styles of the cars. And I'm not even a car person, like I've said before, and that shit looks fucking cool.
It's so great, and I like that you brought up the color correction, because if you look at just the color palette, like
hold on,
almost
Mick, witness.
What?
Witness her? You're witnessing her?
I'm witnessing. That's correct.
Witness.
I'm witnessing Alexis.
Okay.
The
I'll witness
whole
you.
color palette is like the bottom half of the frame is orange and the top half is blue throughout the whole fucking movie.
Yeah.
And it's so, so beautiful. And it's interesting. Have either of you seen the chrome version of this movie?
No. I know that it exists, but I've just never really been tempted to.
I'm with you because I love the color correction. So, like, why would I want to watch a black and white film? And yet, George Miller himself has said, like, if you like Fury Road, you gotta watch the chrome version. Because apparently he said, like, as he was shooting it, he was kind of thinking, like, God, this should be in black and white.
You know what I
really
wanted?
want to rewatch it now.
Yeah, I kind of want to watch it in black and white. Just out of curiosity, I've seen it so many times in color.
You know what I'd want to do more than watch it in black and white is just like put the score on like Spotify or something and watch it silent.
Right.
Because I think this would, completely play, like, as we were talking about, it would completely play as a silent film.
Yeah.
And I'd like to see that. One other person that we must shout out is Guy Norris, who is the stunt coordinator for this film.
Oh, yeah.
Guy Norris also played a part in Mad Max 2, The Road Warrior.
He was the motorcycle guy, right?
He does a infamous stunt in that movie where he flies off his motorcycle and like flips a bunch of times in the air going out of frame. And in that shot, he clips his legs on a car and shatters them.
Yeah, that's a stunt gone wrong.
And I think largely because of like how fucking deadly that could have been, they were so safety conscious on this movie. There were no reported injuries of anyone in the, how crazy is that? They deserve a fucking Nobel Prize.
Yeah, there are two very significant car accidents, of which there are many, but there's two very significant ones in Fury Road. The beginning, where Mad Max gets caught by the War Boys, and you see his Ford Interceptor get blown up, and then it flips and flips and flips and flips until
Guy Norris is driving that car.
Yeah, that's not a remote-controlled rig. And Guy Norris, not only was he driving it, but he did not allow any other stunt drivers to do it because he said, this is so dangerous that I can't, in good conscience, ask someone else to do it. I have to do this because if it goes wrong, I need to be the one to go.
And also he wanted to flip a car more times than anybody else.
Exactly, and he did. And then the other one is in the end where the war rig flips after the engines gets torn out.
Yeah.
There's an actual driver of the war rig that flipped the rig and has it land on its roof. And they had to build like this special protective roll bar cage to encase him in so that he's not crushed under the weight of this legitimate iron warhorse. And it's incredible.
And when they were shooting that, apparently they also have a dummy in there.
Yeah.
And George Miller saw the top of the dummy's head just get clipped on the ground and get completely shaved off. And there was a moment where he thought that was the dude driving the rig, and he was like, oh my God, we've killed someone.
Yeah, you can see him.
Killed someone.
He's at Video Village, George Miller, and he like hops up. He's like, oh my fucking God, he just died.
Yeah.
Nah, it's just fucking good stunt, man.
Witness!
It's incredible. Yeah, it's so good.
Man, what a day, guys.
Speaking of War Rig,
what a lovely
just
day.
Really quickly, the design of that thing is fantastic, and I love how the War Rig is kind of its own character.
Yeah.
Like when its engine catches on fire and then they lower the front almost like a snowplow.
I love that shot. Love just
and it kicks up
sand.
It kicks up the sand to extinguish the flames.
Fires,
and the blower on the engine then opens and you hear this like sound effect, and it's almost like the truck is getting a breath of fresh air, and it like gets to breathe again, and it feels like a living, breathing character, and it's so great, so great.
Would you be a war boy, Mickey boy?
I'd probably be one of the many wives.
I don't think so.
No,
I don't think you're
wifey material.
I don't think you're good breeding stock.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know about that.
That's not what you said last week.
What would be your nickname if you were one of the many wives?
Bussy.
Yes. No, I'd be Mick Bussy.
Bussy the Moist.
There you go.
I also have to shout out Margaret Sixel
Oh, fuck yeah. Wait, who's she?
The editor and also George Miller's wife, who
no
won
shit.
Best Editing at the Oscars that year.
Fuck yeah.
Hell yeah. No, she killed it.
She apparently a 2-year editing job, which
I'm surprised it was that short, to be honest with you.
Yeah, so she's awaited in Valhalla. Witness her.
For real.
Yeah.
Imperator Sixel did incredible work here. Man, guys, I'm just like ready to fucking whip a car around.
Yeah.
Just whip it around in the streets of LA. Yeah. And I had a little mixed margarita thing.
Yeah.
So I'm fucking ready to go.
I had a mixed margarita thing, and I'm ready to go to bed. 'Cause I'm an old man.
I sat my drunk ass down and drove. Don't drink and drive, kids.
Oh, fuck, what was I going to say? Fuck. God damn it, I lost my thought.
Well,
It was gonna be about Mad Max Fury Road, which is weird for me being on topic.
dude, no way.
Yeah.
Crazy.
No,
Bananas.
really quickly, this doesn't have to do with that, but the prequel that will be coming out next year, Furiosa.
Yeah, it's slated for next year.
It's already done shooting. They're in post-production now. Can we talk about it?
Can we talk about?
We got to talk about
So
Chris Hemsworth.
Chris Hemsworth is in Furiosa.
Yeah.
Oh.
By the way, he looks great.
He looks insane.
The set pictures, he looks perfect.
Okay, wait.
And what is his character's name, Zach?
Oh, well, Mick, I'm so glad you asked.
Who is Chris Hemsworth playing in Furiosa?
I would like you to witness Dr. Dementis.
Chris
Dr.
Hemsworth is
Dementis.
playing Dr. Dementis.
How fucking good
And
is
he
that?
has like a false nose.
Okay.
And it looks so good. And so you know like the Sgt. Pepper marching band shirt that Palm Clementif wears in Dead Reckoning, right?
Yeah.
He's wearing something similar. And it's just like, oh, I can't fucking wait, man.
I'm so excited.
Yeah.
What a fucking movie this is.
It's so good. And that's what I was going to say, actually. Out of all of the blockbusters that we've picked, this is the most, if I may use this term, high concept. And that's why it was not a big splash at the box office, because it's kind of
What do you mean by high concept?
High concept is it's not traditional fare. Like, it's not like Spider-Man, comic book film, been established for a very long time. Indiana Jones, conventional adventure film.
So, real quick.
Alien Invasion with Independence Day. But this is, it's high concept. There's more artistry to it in terms of like the world building.
Just to be clear, high concept means that it's a concept that sells itself. That's what the term high concept means.
Oh, okay.
So like you could go in and just like pitch giant spaceships over a city for Independence Day, and that's a high concept movie,
right?
Because it sells itself. So,
I guess. No, I guess maybe I'm not using the term correctly.
Yeah,
but to me, I think
it's a term that gets like very commonly misused. So I'm being a dick about it.
So yeah, I'm trying to describe it as basically like a movie that's just like, it's just not conventional. It's not your typical popcorn blockbuster fare, but it's so good.
But it's just like good. It's a 2-hour car chase, so I mean, like that in itself would sell itself, right? I think. Yeah, but
you have Mother's Milk and Breeders and War Boys and just kind of like some grody ideas.
I wrote down that this is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre of action movies because it's like
I
grimy.
love that actually.
Yeah.
It's grimy and gross and has incredible character designs.
Yeah,
guys, I love the Texas Chainsaw movies.
I've never seen the originals, so I'm sorry.
Watch the first one.
I've
and
only seen the
watch
original.
the second one.
Which didn't Michael Bay do one?
Michael Bay produced one that I haven't seen, but it's on the shelf.
Okay, we own it.
Yeah, someone just gave it to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Some guy on the street?
I believe it was Sage.
Hey, you need to have this on your shelf, kid.
I mean, like, if someone handed me a Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie on the street, I'd be like,
absolutely.
I'm sorry, how do you know me?
We're quickly approaching the runtime of the movie. We gotta wrap this
Are we?
up.
Witness us!
God, we're good. We're getting good at that. We're good at being long in the tooth.
Blockbuster Month has really had some fucking long episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really has.
Closing thoughts. Closing thoughts, Alexis?
The women are so beautiful. I'm so thankful that all of them are there.
Yeah.
That's it.
Witness
Nicholas
Alexis.
Hoult.
There you go.
Witness him. Witness me. I don't know.
Mick?
On a rewatch for God knows how many times, it's just, I'm always in awe of this film, and just so thankful that we got it in the modern age.
It's a high-octane, crazy film that's filling me up.
This is high octane. Yes. That was what I told my sister after I finished watching the movie. I was like, of all the movies we covered, of all the Mission Impossible movies, this movie right here, high octane.
Yeah, out of all of the octane, this is the highest.
You're goddamn right. Well, it's a great way to wrap up a high-octane month.
Yes.
Because now we're at the end of Blockbuster Month.
That's true. And we got some high-octane films. It sounds like, well, maybe not high, but good blockbusters in the world. We got Oppenheimer. We got Mission Impossible during this month. So there's some good shit that we got to watch this month.
Go to the movies, guys.
Go to the movies. They're back. What's next month?
What is next month?
Yeah.
Alexis?
Honestly,
back to
what is
motherfucking school.
Ooh, that's right. We film majors are called the film majors because we were all students together at college. And, well, we have a little announcement to make to our lovely fans. We have decided to all
go back to school.
I have enlisted in a K through 12 program in Van Nuys.
Oh, you shouldn't be there.
I'm really hoping that I really hope that I fit inside the little tiny desk.
Oh, that's the most chilling image.
It's going to be like that fucking
on this podcast.
Wait, what Adam Sandler movie is he?
Oh, we talking Billy Madison?
Yeah, we're going to have a Billy Madison thing going on here.
Great.
Hey, that's that
wasn't quite
movie,
what I
right?
imagined, but you know what? That's better.
Mick, I award you no points and may God have mercy on your soul.
So, so if we're going back to school, what's our first assignment? What's our first assignment and homework that we have going back to school, Alexis?
Too jazzed about this. But
so
I think that we have a general consensus movie, right? Should we open with that?
I honestly forgot, so I'm deferring to you guys.
Alexis, fire it out there.
Dazed and Confused.
Correct.
Oh, really?
We're going to start with 1993's Dazed and Confused.
I've never seen it.
I watched it for the first time this year.
Yeah, it's one of those classics.
Our next Richard Linklater movie.
Yes, it's our second Richard Linklater film. You can find it on Tubi.
Of course you can.
Because
you can find anything on Tubi.
Tubi's got a crazy
good selection. I go grocery shopping on Tubi.
Sponsor us, Tubi. Don't you want to be involved with this
don't
really...
you want to be there when we get canceled? You want to experience it too.
Yeah, no, I'm sure Tubi was gonna take us up on their offer, but then they listened to our show. Like, ooh, we can't be affiliated with Pee Wee Herman Apologists.
But yes, Dazed and Confused stars Matthew McConaughey, Parker Posey, Ben Affleck, Mila Jovovich. Mila Jovovich. Yeah. It's a murderer's row. It's an ensemble film, and I can't wait to talk about it.
Yeah, this has been a long time coming. Again, this is one of those classic films that I somehow have missed out on, not for any particular reason, just haven't gotten around to see it. But now I will. I can't wait to talk about it with y'all.
And as we said, you can find that movie on Tubi. If you want to find us, the Film Majors, on social media, you can find us at Film Majors Pod on Instagram, TikTok, and Threads. And if you want to fire us an email us at filmmajorspod@gmail.com. And go ahead and just, give the show a rating. Give us 5 stars. If you don't want to give us 5 stars, stay fucking quiet.
Yeah, go fuck yourself.
Go fuck yourself.
Don't rate us if you're not going to give us a 5.
This is a good show. If you don't give us 5 stars, I'll be finding you in the wasteland.
I will find you. And I will kill you.
All right.
And with that lovely note, we'll see you next week, y'all. We'll see you in first period, right? It's
Goddamn
cool.
right.
Hell yeah.
Toodles.
You are awaited!